So again, thanks for taking the time to go through this today. If you can kind of give a background on the whole scenario that led up to and what happened with the use of the BolaWrap, that'd be awesome.
So what had happened was I was actually in the middle of doing a training for the BolaWrap to certify one of our sergeants and trainee that I've got with me. And we got a call for a suicidal gal. We arrived, she kind of threw a fit, tried to barricade herself in the room. So we ended up actually wrestling around with her at that point just because of the space and everything and her trying to lock herself in the room. Tried to bite us a few times. We got her into custody, got the ambulance to actually transport her and kind of got her to cooperate with us a little bit. We took her to the hospital. We were about halfway back to town and we got a call from the hospital that she had escaped the hospital and walked out from the hospital. So we ended up turning back around instead of going back to finish training like we were planning on doing. My BolaWrap was actually in the door on my trainee's side, so I had him hand it to me so he kind of knew what was going on. We find her walking down the street and I try talking to her. I get her to stop for a minute and she's not super cooperative, but she's talking to us a little bit. And, she started walking to me and I let her know, stop or I'm going to wrap you. And that way my trainee, he'd been through the slides and he kind of knew what was coming as well. So he actually had sunk in his heels, ready to move in and do like I had taught him. And, I didn't even announce Bola or anything like that, but, she started walking towards me again and I wrapped up her legs and we were able to move in and take her into custody safely. She still struggled with us a little bit, but with her legs being wrapped up, she wasn't able to walk away like she was trying to do. And it actually was a lot more peaceful than the first interaction with her.
You've now set the standard that when you're doing training to implement a live operation as part of the training course.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was great. And he was kind of getting sold on it from the videos in the slideshow or in the presentation and everything. And to see it in person, I mean, he just couldn't stop raving about it. He thought it was the greatest thing. And, we had the hospital security on scene with us and they were just asking him like 100 million questions after the fact, like, what is this, and just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, it worked out really well for us.
I think it was just new to your guys. So this was your first actual deployment in the field, right?
Yeah. I had just got certified as an instructor, me and one of the other deputies, just like week and a half, 2 weeks earlier, something like that. So yeah, I mean, it was first time ever deployed and brand new device to us. So it was great. We're definitely sold.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the perfect use case, right? Because that's the scenario where you don't want to have to hurt the person. They clearly need help and you want to use it early as an apprehension tool just to give you that window of opportunity to get them in custody and get them back to the hospital or wherever they need to go for help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, even though she had tried to bite us earlier and put up a heck of a struggle, we still, it was kind of one of the situations. I'm not going to use a taser on her, and I don't want to wrestle with her again. We're going to end up someone's going to get hurt. And, the BolaWrap was perfect. And I mean, it did exactly what we needed it to do. And, the stun alone, I mean, the time it took her to realize something happened gave us a window of opportunity. And then when she was trying to walk while we were trying to get her in handcuffs, I mean, it worked perfectly.
Well, that's fantastic. Where do you guys like in the policy there? Because I'd mentioned, some of the agencies are calling it an apprehension tool where it's reportable, but it's technically not a use of force unless, something escalates. But where did you guys settle on that?
We're still kind of calling it a use of force, just a real low use of force. We've modified our use of force form to include BolaWrap. On our level, it's right down there. It's under hand to hand and everything, I mean, but we did decide just for our purposes of recording everything that we did call it a use of force.
What obviously what was the discussion after the other officers heard about it? Were they inquiring about it then at that point?
Oh, so I was getting text messages before we even had her in the car from my sergeant. He's like, I hope that worked. And, and then him and the chief watched the video and just, they loved it. Like they thought it was great. And so I mean, we got several different angles and they spent the whole day that next day watching the videos, just amazed by it. So
anything else that I didn't ask about the scenario that you guys learned from it, or anything else that you guys kind of lessons learned in looking back?
it was just kind of one of those situations, like I wish I could have used that tool earlier with her, but we kind of had a plan. And my biggest thing was remembering how far I was from her, so I kind of was having to walk backwards as she was walking towards me to try to make sure I kept my distance. And she started walking towards me again, and that was a perfect distraction. And I wrapped up her kind of mid-thighs there, and we were able to move in and do everything we needed to do. So, and then everything else went resolved very well.
Well, yeah, and again, the communication with you that you were having with her and with the partner that was on scene, obviously that's something we try to emphasize as well, as that communication, having the plan to go hands-on, that you're not in a spectator sport. So
Right.
the goal is to get them into custody. And so again, that's it's great to see that, because that's why when we get these body cams, we really emphasize that in the training, that we've had some departments where they just kind of deploy and stand there, and then they're not getting the outcome. So we really emphasize that, as soon as you're deploying it, you've got the plan, you're moving and getting them into custody to get them the help they need. Stay safe out there. Really appreciate you sharing the video with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys and appreciate the product. It's great.